Hello, good evening and welcome to Joy News Prime. We're coming to you live from our studios here at Kukumlemle. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125 and around the world on myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Tonight, Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council and the Ghana Private Road Transport Union lock horns over fare hikes as the GRTCC's 20% fare increase sparks outrage by GPRTU. Also tonight, NPP firebrand Kennedy Japan becomes first to pick up NPP presidential nomination forms ahead of the 2026 presidential primaries. Also tonight on Joy News Prime, army officers involved in the assault of Joy News journalist Carlos Scaloni placed in a military guard room as indication that internal disciplinary proceedings may be underway. Also in the bulletin, we'll tell you how some Trot drivers are turning their vehicles into moving billboards, having their say on personal and political issues. Tonight, confusion is mounting over public transport fares as the 20% increase announced by the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council takes effect this Friday, 8th of August. And without the support of GPRTU, the unexpected split between the two main transport bodies has sparked disagreement over process legitimacy and who exactly speaks for drivers. Commuters and operators are now caught in the middle, unsure what fares to expect at the terminal. There's more in the following report.
Public transport fares are expected to go up by 20% this Friday. But the usual consensus behind such decision has broken down. The Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council says the increment is necessary due to three main factors: rising spare parts prices, poor road conditions, and an 8% jump in fuel prices following the introduction of a 1 cedi per litre fuel levy. But this time, the announcement came without the endorsement of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. The GPRTU says it was not consulted and is describing the move as a major departure from procedure. Stephen Amoa is the deputy PRO of the GPRTU.
In fact, when we saw this communique, we were a bit surprised because we have no idea about, this very increment. Our records will prove to us that this has never happened, that only GRTCC will come out with a communique, for increasing transport fares. When we saw this communique, we were a bit surprised, for GRTCC coming up with this communique.
The union is urging its members to hold off on implementing the new fares until further talks are held with the Transport Ministry and the GRTCC.
By tomorrow, the leadership of GPRTU is meeting the Transport Ministry to talk about this, to find out from them whether the GRTCC consulted them or there has been an engagement between the GRTCC and the Transport Ministry. If not, then I believe the Transport Ministry has to call a meeting to invite the GRTCC. Then we talk about it before the Friday. Else, it's going to create a lot of confusion.
Meanwhile, the GRTCC is not backing down. Officials say they feel betrayed by the GPRTU, accusing them of holding separate talks with the Transport Ministry over the fuel levy and failing to report back. Alhaji Tanko is the acting national chairman of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council.
And we are trying to meet the minister or something like that. We didn't get him to discuss. Nobody, even when the thing comes, nobody consults us. Oh, this is what is going to come. Government has made his mind to do this. Nobody tells us.
The council insists it represents a wider group of transport associations beyond the GPRTU and is pushing ahead with a fare hike, citing the urgent need to offset the rising cost of operation.
The transport body is not for one man. It's not for one association. Because you see, you can get this OE. They are not part of GPRTU. So not the only GPRTUs in the country.
But parts of the argument are now being challenged. President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Joseph Obeng, says spare part prices have dropped slightly in response to cedi gains.
Goods have responded positively to the stability of the local currency. You see, we've told you several times that we also have our own challenges, even though we are transferring some of the gains so far gotten to the consuming public.
With Friday's deadline approaching, uncertainty lingers over which fare commuters will be charged and who holds the final say.
Well, let's explore this further and bring in the spokesperson for the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Mr. Roxon, to join the conversation here on Joy News Prime. Mr. Richmond Roxon, we appreciate your time. I've just been going through the statement put out by the Ghana Road Coordinating Council and some of the key concerns they have raised. The reason why they're proposing this 20% increment, according to the statement they put out, is that one of the major concerns they have is the increment, the 1% increment in transport fares. And if you would just permit me to read that point 2 of their statement, they say they're increasing the fares to accommodate the increase in the operational costs for the introduction of 1 cedi per litre. And that's the concern they're raising, the reason why they want to increase fares by 20%. As a ministry, how do you respond to this?
Good evening to you, and good evening to your cherished viewers. It's very unfortunate.
You may have to speak up for us to hear you clearly, Mr. Richmond.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear now.
Yes, it's very unfortunate that at this point where all indicators are positive, you have one of the driver unions come out to say that they want a 20% increase in fare. I'm happy that GRTCC has rejected it. GUTA has also said that their basis of saying that operational cost has been high is unfounded, as you have spare part prices also come down. We also know that fuel prices have recorded significant reduction within the period. If you look at from January to now, fuel prices have gone down significantly, even with the introduction of the 1 cedi. And so all the indicators do not support their claim and their basis for an increase of 20%. And that's why you would notice that they are alone in this. And as a government who takes steps to engage them, we didn't have any indication. They hadn't written to us. We didn't get any indication from Ministry of Transport. We've checked with them as well, and we've been told that nothing like that had been communicated to them. And so, as the government reject their proposal. We reject the basis of they saying that prices go up. Fares go up by 20%, and we'll ask that respectfully they rescind the petition.
Though you reject the proposal, aren't their concerns legitimate, really?
Their concerns are not legitimate. Like I said, if you take all the indicators obviously point to a positive side. And if there's anybody who should be crying for any price review, it should be the people of Ghana who should be complaining that, looking at all the indicators, prices should rather come down. If you look at the example they gave, that one of the justifications is the 1 Ghana cedi increase. If you look at where we were in January, which we were buying for about 17 Ghana cedis per litre, and what we currently experience at the pump, which is an average of 12, 13 cedis, depending on where you buy from, there's a reduction of about 4 Ghana cedis. And if you're buying, assuming you're buying 17 litres of fuel in January, which was about 1,000, 3,004, as of now, you're doing about 900 Ghana cedis, even with the 1 cedi introduction. And that will be a saving of about 400 Ghana cedis. With this, how can there be a justification that the 1 cedi is the cost of an increase of not 1%, not 2%, not 5%, but 20%? That cannot be justifiable in any way.
So as a ministry, we know we've heard from the Transport Ministry that they will be engaging the drivers' union just to get their thoughts on why exactly they're doing this. But because you've been mentioned in this statement as one of the reasons why they're going ahead with this increment, will you be playing a mediation role?
What we'll do is that we'll engage as a ministry. The Honorable Minister George Napo is currently in END. We've been in Tamale trying to resolve the NEDCO PRE and then the rest of Tamale issues. from morning, we've been engaging various stakeholders. We just left BND and to another meeting. So once we are back, definitely there will be an engagement to ensure that find an amicable resolution to this matter.
Thank you so much for your time here on Joy News Prime. Away from that, the opposition New Patriotic Party has warned that a new cocoa producer price announced by government may push farmers to smuggle their cocoa across Ghana's borders in search of better prices. The Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiel Atuforsen, this week announced a marginal increase in the price per bag, citing a stable cedi and easing inflation. But the minority says farmers were promised far more and calls for more increment in this price. They say that what the government has done so far is tantamount to betrayal. Hannah Odami has more in the following report.
The revised price, set to take effect from the 7th of August, indicates an increase from $3,100 to $5,040 per ton. According to the Finance Minister, the increment was possible due to a strong Ghana cedi and declining inflation. But the minority does not agree to this. Ranking on the Committee on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs, Dr. Isaac Yao Opoku, who's described the increase as a betrayal to cocoa farmers, called on government to issue an apology to them.
Honorable Eric Opoku, on various campaign platforms, including a meeting with cocoa farmers at Dadia Swaba in the Ahafo region, consistently promised cocoa farmers a producer price of 6,000 Ghana cedis per bag. Honorable Atuforsen, on the other hand, promised to pay cocoa farmers 7,000 cedis per bag if they won power. What happened to these numerous promises? They should stop the lamentations and honor their promises. Honorable Eric Opoku will have to go back to Dadia Swaba and apologize unreservedly for his failed promise.
The minority further indicated that even by conservative estimates, government should have set the price at 3,718 per bag, not at 3,228.75 cedis.
At today's world market price of 8,211, the 70% translates to 84,986.23 Ghana cedis per ton, or 3,718 Ghana cedis per bag.
Has a tendency to compel farmers to smuggle cocoa beans to nearby countries to sell in order to acquire higher prices.
This stark difference presents an irresistible incentive for smugglers to divert Ghanaian cocoa across the border, particularly leading to a mass exodus of our prized main crop beans from the border regions, especially in the Western South, Western North, Bono Ahafo, and the Volta.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odami.
Well, the Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform says the government should have paid 3,677 cedis per bag of cocoa if it were truly following the 70% world market price benchmark. They described the price announced by the Finance Minister as unfair to farmers. There's more in the following report.
The Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform has held a press conference on the recent cocoa price increase announced by the Finance Minister, expressing disappointment after earlier promises of being paid 6,000 cedis per bag. Steering committee member of the platform, Patrick Nati, speaking to the news team, stated that if the government were truly paying 70% of the world market price, the announced amount of 3,228.75 cedis should have instead been 3,676 Ghana cedis.
Because of what they told us yesterday, it means that what they're supposed to give us, they failed to do that. And that is the reason why we are here, that we did not agree for the price they gave us, because they're supposed to give us 3,677 Ghana cedis. That is all about the price and then the expectation per the web market price they promise us.
Chairperson of the Cocoa Umma Cooperative Union, Letitia Yankee, stated that President Mahama and some key NDC members had promised cocoa farmers silver and gold, which encouraged many to acquire land and cultivate cocoa in hopes of benefiting. She expressed deep disappointment, saying the newly announced price fall far below the expectations.
So for the president and the minister to tell us that, oh, this year farmers are going to be very, very happy. All those who don't have cocoa farms should go and look for land and tilt for cocoa farm is a big promise. And farmers, we embrace it. So for the minister to come back and give us something different is below our expectation. This is what we are talking about. We are talking as farmers who are disappointed because we were not given 70% of the world market price, but 70% of the farm gate price.
Well, let's speak to some of the cocoa farmers on this. And join me now is Anani Boateng. He's a cocoa farmer and a member of the Ghana Cocoa Farmers Association. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. We'll also be engaging another key member of Cocoa Board, the head of public affairs of Ghana Cocoa Board, Jeremy Sam. Thank you so much for your time here on Joy News Prime. He joins us via Zoom. So please stay with me, Mr. Anani. I'll come to you shortly. But let me start with you. First of all, Cocoa Board has some answers to give to the farmers. We've just been hearing from the Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform, and we know that government has been able to raise the price of cocoa from 3,100 Ghana cedis to 3,228.75 per bag. But their concern is that it ought to be more. In fact, they're predicting that the actual price should be over 3,600 Ghana cedis if government is indeed pushing that 70% increment. How do you respond to this?
Thank you very much for having me. A very good evening to yourself and then your lovely viewers across the globe. Well, I don't know the basis for which they are saying they ought to have had more than 3,600.
Yeah, predicting it should have been 3,677.
That's fine. That's why I said that I don't know the basis, all right, what went into their formula or calculations, okay? So if they are able to put to bear in respect of their formula or calculation, then we'll be able to speak to whatever that they are alluding to. But what I know from the side of Cocoa Board is that we have decided this time around to be very transparent or open in respect of the formula and how we even arrived at what the FOB, okay? Now, what did the government declare in respect of what? The gross FOB. The government upon the international market has come to a realization that this year we are having a 7,200 in respect of the gross FOB that the government realized. Out of this, the government is giving 5,040, which represents 70%. Unless somebody can come out with a different calculation in respect of picking the $7,200 and then the 5,040 to say that it does not represent the 70% that the president and then the NDC manifesto did allude to or really made that particular hot promise. This also is a significant increment from the $3,100 in respect of percentage term, 62.58%. This also is what? This also is a fact. However, the farmer is not too comfortable or okay because of the appreciation of what? The Ghana cedi. And this is a determining factor which nobody who really want to come to a clear determination as to the factors informing how we do come by the price of cocoa can dispute. Because we are looking at two most important factors: the international market price as well as what? Your exchange rate. So unlike what happened in 2024, where even though the net effect of a depreciating currency is an excruciating hardship on the people, it is also positive in terms of what? Exporting companies, i.e. cocoa board. And that is how come people or party officials of the NDC then did make the proposition that, look, considering an increment in the spot market of cocoa as at that time, it is only fair, as it were, for the government to revise the cocoa price that it has been that has been given to the cocoa farmer to at least 6,000 Ghana cedis. So what were they talking about? On the average, in terms of the 2024, on the average, cocoa price was hovering around $10,000 because at a point it peaked up to $12,000 per ton. As of November, December of 2024, the price per ton of cocoa stood at 11,600. However, because I am mindful of the fact that you don't use spot price in the determination of cocoa price,
the exact argument the farmers are making that at the farm gates and the money coming to their pockets, it's just 128 Ghana cedis increment. And that is inadequate, especially because we know that our biggest competitor, Cote d'Ivoire, are yet to review their prices, and they would be doing that coming the close of this pricing window. What that would mean is that if their pricing is higher, farmers would then resort to smuggling. Mr. Sam, we seem to have lost Mr. Sam there, just about to make that point for us. We'll reconnect the line. I'm sure I have better connection to him now. Please make that point for me in a minute, and then we can wrap up the conversation.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
You see, when I read the statement by the minority, I felt very sad. Because do you know what the minority did in respect of calculating the price of what? Cote d'Ivoire. What they did was, Cote d'Ivoire's what? Price has been quoted in what? Kilo. Okay? Has been quoted in kilo. And when you go on the internet, you will see that they have quoted 1 kilo is up to 3.65. 3.635 per dollar. And if you want to find in terms of per ton, you only will have to multiply this amount by 1,000, because 1,000 kilos will make what? Will constitute a ton. So when you do this calculation, you will be getting the money in terms of what? Dollar terms, which will amount to 3,600 and what? 635, as quoted in the statement of the minority. Instead for them to know the difference in respect of the Ghana cedi, they didn't do that. They kept mute on that and picked that dollar term and then decided to speak to that this is the amount that the cocoa farmer in what? In Cote d'Ivoire is receiving when it comes to what? The Ghana cedi equivalent.
Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, if you are to do the proper computation, Ivorians are receiving not more than 2,600 in terms of Ghana cedis. So if somebody today picks his cocoa bag to Cote d'Ivoire to sell, the only thing you can do to get benefits is that whatever amount that you are being paid, you do not send it back to Ghana, but you stay in Cote d'Ivoire to do what? To spend it. But if you are to come to Ghana to spend the money, then you will be shortchanging yourself. As the 3,228 being given by President Mahama, you are opting for 2,000.
Point noted. Thank you so much, Mr. Jerome. We'll have to move on from that conversation. Now, away from that, NPP flag bearer hopeful Kennedy Japan has become the first to officially pick nomination forms for the party's 2026 presidential primaries. His move puts him ahead in the race to succeed President Akufo-Addo after the 2024 election cycle. The NPP opened nomination on July 29 and will close the process on August 28. The final list of qualified aspirants will be released in October after vetting. Thankfully, I have with me Kwesi Kwarteng, spokesperson for Kennedy Japan's campaign team in the New Patriotic Party. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. I'm sure your candidate is excited.
I mean, certainly. He's just happy to serve the good people of Ghana, especially with the kind of broader vision that he has, and wants to make it realistic and not necessarily a vision in his mind, but wants to implement it. You know, the name Kennedy Japan is synonymous with pragmatism, And so today began the first step of, the processes that will involve implementing the vision that they have. Of course, Kennedy believes in job creation. He believes that there is a link and a strong correlation between socioeconomic transformation and variables like agriculture, tourism.
And that is a message you'll be selling to the delegates, because really the stage is set, and the big question on the minds of many is, how do you plan as his campaign team to convince the members of the party that he is the right man for the job when you have the likes of Brian Champon in the race and also Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
We will speak for ourselves. And bottom line is that I've always made a point that no matter how nice and rich ideas and vision you have, if you do not win political power, all the vision and ideas will be obsolete. It is the more reason why our case has always been that Kennedy Japan appeals strongly to all manner of people in this country, voting voters, the MPP, and even in extension, some members in the NDC. And so it is our case. We humbly and strongly submit that Kennedy will be able to capture power for the MPP in 2028. And so in the spirit of revival, we strongly believe that when we connect with the base, the grassroots, who Kennedy represents, who he always speaks for, who he always advocates for, who his philanthropic job, the job creation initiative has been affecting, we will get to them, appeal to them, sell the message that when Kennedy Japan is brought into the picture to lead, obviously, with his courage, with his boldness, the discipline, the trust and confidence that the Ghanaian voter has in him, will be able to secure 2020. And that is the message that we are going to sell to them. So today marks the beginning. Today, indeed, we've picked the nomination, of course, through the volunteering support of some MPs. We've been able to pick the nomination, and the journey has begun.
Thank you so much, Kwesi Kwarteng, a key member of Kennedy Japan's campaign team. Away from that, have you ever wondered how Trot drivers share their thoughts on politics, fate, or life in general? They let their vehicles do the talking, inscribing bold and personal messages on their windscreens. In our feature titled Talking Trot, my colleague Kaya engages some drivers in Accra to uncover the meaning behind the messages.
Trotros are the most preferred mode of transport in Ghana's capital, Accra. They are affordable and the most convenient form of transportation. They are cheap and go everywhere. But there's something else that travels with them. Messages, usually inscribed on their windshields. From scriptures and religious symbols to favorite football teams and flags. One driver, Yeboah, uses his trotro to make a political statement, reflecting how he feels about past presidents and their time in office.
2020, I write, Mahama is better than this man. And after 2024 election, I write Mahama is better than that man. And I can't mention that person name because I don't want any disturb. That's why I write that man or this man. Any Ghanaian can know the person who I'm talking about.
It's not just for attention. Yeboah believes drivers should have a say too on national issues.
Oh, if you worry me, what can you do? You cannot do anything because you have a freedom of speech. And I didn't mention anybody's name. And you can say, I said this man or this man. If you are a sensible person, you see that I'm talking about this man. But you can't tell me that this man I'm talking about. Or if you see the dollar with CD, the dollar is higher than CD. But as now, dollar come down. If you see what is going on, everybody know that Mahama is better than that man.
Others, like Charles Bedu, share messages reflecting personal life stories and relationships.
Oh, I've wrote, baby, let me sleep. Because of that, it's not about maybe someone would think about maybe in sex way, but it's not that. I take my wife to Malata. It's my market woman. Every day, he wake up me maybe in the noon, 3:30, 4:30. I take him to Malata. So every time when I'm going, I feel like I want sleep. So that because of that, then I wrote that in my car. I get some fans, private men, when I'm going, they say, oh, driver, stop, let me take what you have wrote in your car. So I know the reason why I've wrote that one in my car.
The first Trot shows came to Ghana in the 1960s and were originally used for merchant travels and long-distance trade. Now, these vans serve everyone, from the average businessman to children heading to school. Many of the sayings you might see are expressions of beliefs from a range of religions and languages. And for some, they might even be used to ward off bad spirits.
2003, I started driving our parkers. I message in the buyer. So bit me say me I'm in by a metro train last year metro Santrayan and check na me so dia to me do our parkers auntie a do to me na makasa anunti na message in the buyer say metro sai metro
so bi chewa dia e was on danasi senya ko po chewa dia e was on danasi as a children na good Allah
obi abedi di se ne atibia no ento ama adin sade na ko be hye no nyam obi asa kan de sa pepe enya de adin chi adin sade obi abedi di
uniska uni abusua se wa no se wi ase be se wo ska abusua fo mo do uniska abusua fo mo no wo ka wa sem kura na ye ntie ba wo ska wo ba wa kura se wo se den Ubawa cry, I say, that was saying, Niska, when you have and I may who so I won't come with the woman Niskano, the former Mobra, who is Sky, Robobra.
They may look like random words on glass or metal, but for the drivers, it's how they speak, without authoring a word. So the next time you see them on the road or at a lorry station, don't just pass by. Read it. It might tell you exactly what the driver cannot. Kaya la Guardia Yunamine, Joy News, Nkrumah Circle, Ghana.
And you're still watching Joy News from. We're back after this quick turn. Please stay tuned in. Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Armed military personnel who were captured on video assaulted Joy News journalist Carlos Coloni, his cameraman, and an eyewitness during a demolition exercise at Spintex have been placed in a military guard room. Their detention comes amid growing public and media pressure, as well as concern from sections of government demanding swift accountability. The incident occurred last week while the Joy News team was covering demolition operation at Spintex. Speaking on Newsfile, lawyer and leading member of the NDC, Abraham Amaliba, confirmed that the soldiers have since been placed in a military guard room.
I saw the beating and I was shocked to my bone marrow because I thought that the police should have been the one supervising this work and not the military. And I'm happy that the president has, in his own words, ordered the military to investigate the matter. And I'm told, and I can inform you, that the military men are in guard room now and investigations are going on. But the larger picture is that...
That is to say they have been interdicted?
Because I'm told that the army don't have interdiction. What they have is to put you in the guard room.
Yeah. So that's what I'm told. That's synonymous to interdiction. So to speak,
that's why I was so careful not to use the word interdiction.
The Commission is calling on the public to support enforcement of the 4-month hunting ban. The closed season, which began in August 1, prohibits hunting and trading of wild animals except grass cutters. Authorities say the break allows wildlife reproduce and recover. Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Tumu.
The 2025 close season observation for wildlife was held on the theme Conserving Nature, Securing the Future, and Empowering Local Communities. It was attended by major stakeholders in the wildlife sector, including municipal and district chief executives, traditional and opinion leaders, heads of security agencies, farmers and hunters. The period for the close season observation spans for 4 months every year, beginning August 1 to December 1, where total ban is imposed on the hunting, capture and trade in all wild animals and their products, with the exception of the grass cutter. The objective of the ban is to give breathing space for the wildlife to reproduce and nurture their offsprings without the pressure of hunting, and to replenish their population to ensure healthier and more sustainable population for the future. Executive Director of the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission, Dr. Joseph Boache, in a speech read on his behalf by the Director of Operations, Wildlife Division, Farouk Umar Dubir, outlined some of the illegal practices that infringes on the law and called for public support to observe the close season.
Group hunting is prohibited by law. Hunting at night is prohibited by law. Hunting with dogs and flares is prohibited by law. Hunting without permit is prohibited by law. And any person who engages in any of this act commits an offense under the wildlife law and liable on conviction to a fine or prison term or both. It is on this basis that the Wildlife Division is calling on the general public to support us to strictly enforce the ban on hunting during the period from 1st August to 1st December, this and every year.
Our Forestry Minister, Lawyer Charles Wongo Pozung, in a speech read on his behalf by the Chief Director at the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, Haji Pona Fati Sakokuri, spoke about the importance of wildlife on tourism and other facets of the people's lives.
Worth noting that wildlife provide enormous benefits to our sustenance, such as ecotourism, research, medicine, and environmental protection, for which reason they must be preserved and used sustainably for both present and future generations.
President John Dramani Mahama says he's committed to help design a new global health governance system that fits today's world. Speaking at the Africa Health Sovereignty Summit here in Accra, which he led, he also announced a new African program called Sustain Initiative, which will make sure countries spend money on the most important health needs, raise money from African government, African abroad, and donors. Presidential Affairs correspondent Mark Tadawagwa has more in this report.
Global health has seen major progress, but these achievements are now at risk due to global political changes, funding cuts, and new health threats. According to organizers of the Africa Sovereignty Health Summit, the current health system is outdated and needs urgent reform. Countries must take more responsibility and global governance must improve. This African-led gathering, GRTCC, aims to unite global partners to address these challenges and drive change. In his speech, Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, raised alarm over a projected 40% drop in global health aid this year. He proposed a 50% tax on products like tobacco, alcohol, and sugary drinks to bridge the financing gap.
As you all know, sudden and steep cuts to aid are now causing the most severe disruptions to health systems since the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to WHO's latest analysis, health aid is projected to decline by up to 40% this year compared to just 2 years ago. One practical solution is health taxes. A 50% price increase on harmful products like tobacco, alcohol, and sugary drinks could generate an additional $3.7 trillion globally within 5 years, and save millions of lives.
President Mahama, who is the convener of the summit, unveiled the creation of a presidential high-level task force. This team will collaborate with leaders across Africa and around the world to design a new global health governance system, one that fits the realities of today.
We must therefore urge our ministers of finance to treat health as a capital investment, to encourage sovereign wealth funds to allocate resources to biotech, to diagnostics, and resilient infrastructure. And what are the new commitments? Today, I'm pleased to announce two significant commitments. The first is the Presidential High-Level Task Force on Global Health Governance. This will be a convening platform to engage global and continental partners to redesign the health governance systems for the world we live in now, not the world of yesterday. The second,
well, Ghana is harnessing young minds for its energy future. This year's Senior High School Renewable Energy Challenge, launched by the Energy Commission, sharpens students' problem-solving skills, introduces AI innovation, and connects winners to real-world internships. My colleague Danisha Pomayeje has more in the following report.
It's energy shifts through education. Since 2019, the Energy Commission under the Renewable Energy Act, Act 832, has promoted Senior High School Renewable Energy Challenge. At this year's launch, Acting Executive Secretary Eunice Burichum said the initiative aims to boost students' critical thinking and offer internship opportunities for students from the winning schools.
Basically, the intent is to have our students, through creative thinking, provide or promote innovative projects that solve a particular problem in our environment or in our communities. So that is how the challenge came about. And usually the good projects or outstanding projects are awarded a prize. We even offer like internships to the students from the winning team, and so on.
Director of the Science Education Unit at the Ghana Education Service, Olivia Sewa Opare, reaffirmed their strong support for the competition since its inception and emphasized the GES's role in guiding students through project-based learning initiatives.
We plan and prepare the learners for the competition. So through coaching, our learners are able to do empirical research to defend whatever projects that they come out with.
Director of Training, Assessment and Quality Assurance at the TVET Service, Samuel Deborah, highlighted the growing importance of artificial intelligence, noting that this year's competition will focus on AI to reflect its impact on social skills development and innovation.
So the introduction of AI into this year's challenge is to make sure that the solutions that our students are going to provide are smarter and more efficient. Quite apart from that, using the AI will make the project more impactful and also prepare them for the future of work, because that is the way to go now.
The Northern and Southern Zonal contests are scheduled for August 9 and 11, 2025. Only 6 schools, 3 from each zone, will advance to the grand finale.
Well, it's time for Showbiz, and Becky Bex joins me in the studio. Hi, Becky.
Hello to you, Fossey. How you doing?
You're looking dashing as usual.
Thank you so much. Let's start with this breaking news coming in.
Okay.
The Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO, has confirmed the seizure of a luxury Lamborghini SUV from popular Ghanaian musician Shatta Wale. The vehicle is said to be linked to convicted Ghanaian-American fraudster Nana Kwabena Amwa, also known as Philip Osei-Tutu. The high-end vehicle, which was in the possession of Ghanaian dancehall artist Shatta Wale at the time of the seizure, was reportedly acquired using proceeds from Amwa's multi-million-dollar romance and business email compromise scheme in the United States. In a statement, IOCO revealed that the confiscation followed a formal request from the Federal Bureau of Investigations and the United States Department of Justice, who had identified the vehicle as an asset purchased with fraudulent acquired funds. Yoko said Shatta Wale, who was present when its official visited his residence initially, resisted efforts to take the vehicle. However, he later complied and voluntarily handed over the keys after learning the true nature of the matter. Yoko's statement clarifies that the agency acted within its legal mandate under Ghana's Proceeds of Crime Act. The car was among several properties flagged in the U.S. judgment that sentenced Amwa to 64 months in prison and ordered him to pay over $4 million in restitution to his victims. Quote, the vehicle has been duly secured and will be handed over to the United States authorities in accordance with the judgment issued by the U.S. District Court. Yoko said in its release, Yoko has reiterated its commitment to assisting international law enforcement efforts and urged the public to cooperate in similar cases as the country strengthens its asset recovery and anti-money laundering framework.
Well, Becky, just yesterday we heard from the Ghana Police Service tell us that they seized more than 40 high-end vehicles. Yeah. Is this part of the vehicles?
Yeah, this is supposed to be part of the vehicles that was announced that has been recovered and will be delivered.
So this could be.
It could be part of it.
But then the question really is that why is it coming up now? Because based on Yoko's statement, this happened as far back as June.
Yeah, so Shatta Wale released a post on social media, if we have that. He mentioned that Yoko came to his house with guns. So that was a statement. I don't know if we actually do we have the statement from the Facebook post from Shatta Wale.
Just a second, we're getting that up on screen. So this is what is sparking this whole conversation now.
So Yoko has to release the statement explaining what actually happened when they went to the house. I'm not too sure about the rest of the details, but of course, we're your home of fearless, incredible journalism, and we'll be bringing you up to speed updates on this particular story. Hopefully, we'll get Shatta Wale to talk to on this issue.
I see.
But that's what Shatta Wale. So, first, can you? Okay, so. Yoko boss, so that's Shatta Wale's statement, right, that the president of Ghana didn't put you in that office to come and humiliate the citizens of this country. Remember, God knows sleep. So, it is alleged that this could be the post that has instigated
all of this.
Yoko to bring out that statement.
Makes sense now, makes sense. And I'm told there's another one, and Derek, you're working on getting that for us as well. Yeah. Just so that we can give our audience context and background.
Yeah, so mentioning Raymond Archer, the Yoko boss, it be you go make NDC go lose out of, go out of power next 4 years. Bringing guns to my house was uncalled for. We're not too sure, whether this guns issue that Shatta Wale is saying is today or happened today, yesterday, or a day before, or in June. But this statement, this Facebook post actually came in today.
Interesting. I'm told it came at 4 p.m. and Yoko had to respond at with 7 p.m. with that statement. Interesting.
Yeah.
And that was on his Facebook page, the one we just posted.
Yeah, Charles Niama.
I see. Quite a lot of things happening.
Yeah. But let's talk about the movie industry, because Ivan Kwashiga has been appointed as chairman of the new NFA board. We have reports here.
We have an upcoming program that we are currently.
The inauguration was done on Monday, August 4, 2025. The National Film Authority, established in 2016 under the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, oversees the clarification of films, industry regulation and advocacy for filmmakers. Ivan Kwashiga, founder and chief executive officer of Farmhouse Production, is one of Ghana's most celebrated creative minds. Trained in directing and script writing at the National Film and Television Institute, NAFTI, he also holds an executive master's degree in governance and leadership from Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GEMPA. His career spans decades of groundbreaking work, including producing and directing the highly acclaimed youth television series Things We Do for Love and YOLO, You Only Live Once, among a litany of other film and television productions. YOLO dominated the 2016 Ghana Movie Awards, winning 7 out of 8 nominations, while Kwasiga has earned more than 18 international and local accolades, including recognition at FESPACO for Best Short Feature. As chairman, Kwasiga is expected to lead the board of the authority in tandem with the executive secretary to advance its mission to improve industry standards, champion Ghanaian storytelling, and enhance the country's presence on the globe.
Fire and Ash is something that you should be looking forward to, and it's coming out in December.
And I'm looking forward to it because this movie teaches us how to protect the environment. Okay. That's the theme for me. Aww. I'm looking forward to
You've
how...
seen Avatar?
Of course I have.
I was wondering,
Well, Becky, we have to go.
Of course.
Derek will chase us out of the studio.
We're thankful for your time
this
evening. Please log on to myjoyonline.com. We're out of here.
Out of here, please.